So, hello everyone. Welcome to the new day and new vlog. I hope you have watched previous videos and enjoyed it. If not, then you can go and watch those videos. We talked about how to find accommodation here in Barcelona, in Spain. First of all, for some people who do not know, I came to Barcelona to Spain for my Erasmus exchange program, and now I have with me the one of the best volunteers of entire ESN section of this world, Maria and Natalia. So now I think in this video, one of the important points you might have in mind after getting the idea of how you can find the accommodation, which is regarding what are the safe neighborhoods where you can search for the accommodation, or what are the safe neighborhoods here in Barcelona in Spain, because you might have heard the story about Barcelona. And also we will talk about how you can avoid the scams, because I think Natalia and Maria are here for quite some time and they might help us with some of the insights. So first of all, if we start with this topic, that what are the safe neighborhoods here?
I think that one of the safest neighbors are the Sands.
Yeah.
It's near Estación de Sands, like the train station.
Yeah.
And Camp Nou.
Yeah.
You will know Camp Nou.
Yeah.
And I think that it's the safest because it's where people from Barcelona lives.
Yeah.
It's not a touristic zone. It's well connected, and a lot of students from Catalonia or Spain also have a flat there.
Yeah.
So I think that is a really safe and common place and area, and I would recommend it. Sands.
Yeah. And Maria, what about you?
I live in Neighbourhoods, which is an area that's quite cheap, as I said.
Yeah.
In the previous year, I paid 450 for my flat.
Yeah.
And it's also a quite area because it's a very local place.
Yeah.
Normally you can see shops, local shops in the street,
Local souvenir shops or things you can find.
Not souvenir, but local shops, greengrocers, butchers.
Restaurants as well, maybe.
It's like a little neighborhood, so it's a little bit. It's an option that's far away of the hustling of Barcelona.
Exactly. So, so one point here, maybe the zones that come to my mind, I'll try to ask about that. So I think that's quite good. First of all, when I was about to come here and I did not had this idea that where should I look for the apartment, because when you search for the website, sometimes they give you the options of the district or the zones which are here, like Exemplar, right? So one by one, if you come to the zone, do you think Exemplar is safe?
I think that Eixample is a safe zone, but the thing is that it's more expensive than the regular, but it's a safe zone because it's the center of the city.
Yeah.
I think that there are other areas that are more tricky or scary, but I think that Eixample is a good, in Barcelona we have Eixample Dret and Eixample Esquerra, right Eixample and the other
left Eixample.
Thank you.
Interesting.
And I think that it's a good, both of them, it's a really good idea.
Interesting. And Maria, what about Ciutadella?
Ciutadella.
Yeah. Ciutadella, yeah.
It's near Arc del Triunfo.
Yeah.
Near the park.
Yeah.
Personally, I haven't lived there, but because of the place, because it's more central zone, it's next to a few stops, metro stops from Catalonia.
Yeah.
It's probably more expensive than flats that's on the outskirts of Barcelona.
Exactly.
And I think that it's not the safest because Ciutadella, it's not right in the center. It's near the coast, and also near, for example, Santa Coloma, that is a city and that.
Yeah.
And Ciutadella, it's near some areas that I would not recommend to live there.
Yeah.
For example, La Mina.
Yeah.
Or San Bezos, that areas that are next to Ciutadella is not, and also that a lot of scams.
Yeah.
Because people that are from outside, they want to live near the beach.
Yeah.
They choose Ciutadella, and there are a lot of scams because the scammers know that it's an area that may be keen to some Erasmus.
Yeah.
So I think that if you choose Ciutadella area to live, be careful because it's not the safest and there are a lot of scams.
Exactly. So one point here to mention is that some of the popular places which you might have also heard, I think maybe the scammers also know those places that this is quite touristy. So when the people know that this is a touristy place, then I think some crimes might also happen. Crimes in terms of stealing, as an example. So since it's near to the Arc de Triomphe, So the thing is, this is quite popular area because many activities you will see once you come here that happens, maybe Zumba or some different running or some things that happen. It is also touristy. But talking about, like you said, next to the beach, there is an area or like some students lives near Barceloneta. So what do you talk about that?
Barceloneta is more chaotic, especially for what Nissan was saying, tourism. I like a lot of people, a lot of pickpockets, a lot of scams. And right now, I think that it's on construction, most of the park. So that's also like a point to consider. But the same with Ciutadella, like Ciutadella, Barceloneta, are like really touristic, and scammers know that. So I would not recommend that. Also because it's also odd to be from Barcelona and live in Ciutadella or Barceloneta. It's not common. Super touristic, so the prices and the scammers know that.
Prices can also be high comparatively, and scams might also be high because I know if you live in these areas, I have heard about some of the stories that when people return, maybe at a certain time, 1 or 2 o'clock from the club or when they party, then they return. Then some people, especially for the girls, I would say that some people, might follow, or some people, might stalk, or these things might happen. So if you are in group, if you live in community, if you know the people around, or if you get to know your flatmates, then you can live at these places. But you have to be cautious, I would say, if you're living in this area. Next thing, I come to very Gothic. But where do you live, Maria?
Where as I was saying, I live in Neighbourhoods.
And is it safe?
It's safe. It's safe, but because it's a place that's not
common.
Maybe it's not common and it's not so crowded. It's not so noisy as a central place in Barcelona.
Okay.
That's Neighbourhoods. It's near San Andreu.
That's it.
San Andreu, Neighbourhoods, Horta. They're like it's not on the center of the city, but they are safe because it's where Catalan people and Barcelona people live. So it's not that touristic, and the scams don't happen that often, and also like they are cheaper because there are nothing like to exploring the touristic thing.
Exactly.
It's like Sands where I live. It's like a common area for Catalan people and Barcelona people. And also it's like a good way to contribute to local stores, local commerce. So I think it's a nice option.
So one point here, so like you said, it's not that common, right? But for the people who would be coming or might have this question that if they find accommodation in these places, are the cities accessible? Is the transportation good? If you want to, you live in less popular places, then can you still go to the events and is it well connected?
I think that Barcelona in general is like well connected. Like the metro goes from each part of the city, you can move. And the buses also alright, there are trams.
Also the B-Thing service.
Exactly,
something like biking on the city. So it's nice. Maybe if you are in the center of Barcelona, I wouldn't recommend it because it can be a little bit too much because of the traffic. But if you like biking around
the city,
natural place or the beach, for instance, it's also a good idea. And
you can even live near to the Bogatel, but the thing is with these beach places, you have to be cautious. I think that's important. Like bicycling, which Maria was talking about, we have talked about that in one of the videos. You can say with Gisela and Mar as well about the public transportation system. So you can watch that video as well, where we have discussed one by one all these methods of public transportations which are there in Barcelona. One of the other point which is there is Gracia, because Gracia is also quite popular place. Would you recommend Gracia, or would you just recommend it to just go there and roam around? But is it good for living?
Yes, Gracia is good for living. It's more expensive, but now it's like kind of popular. Like there are like these aesthetic bars, aesthetic cafeterias and everything. It's a good area, but it's odd to find like apartment there because the offer is not that much. Like there are not that many apartments in Gracia. But it's a good area to live as well. But I think that as my point of view, I think it's better to live in an area like Maria and I live, like San Andreu, Sands, because you really get like the Catalan culture, because you are daily in contact with people that live here. And Gracia, like in these recent past years, has been more like people that come to live from Barcelona from abroad. So it has lost a little bit of its essence, but it's also a good place and it's safer.
Exactly. One of the areas which I wanted to talk about, like because I have not been to these areas which they mentioned, so I think that's quite a good insight. If you can find apartment there, the prices are also comparatively less, and you can get the gist of the local culture. I live in very Gothic. For me, till now it's fine. Although sometimes when I had to go to the trips at 6 or 7 o'clock, I have maybe 1 or 2 times these experience that in the morning you can see some drunk people and making some noise and all. But for me till this time, like no stealing thing that has happened, and it's also good for me. But I think as a girl's perspective, like because that can change, because like they might get like from the stories, getting followed and all those things happens. So you have to be cautious for it first of all. So very Gothic is good. I would recommend where you live. That is also important, because I know some of my friends, they also live there near San Jaume Square, so you can access the city as well. We had the Old Town tour as well. So Palau de la Musica, San Jaume Square, all these spots are nearby. You can get the buses to the beach as well. From that point also, I'll try to show you my neighborhood in some other blocks, so you can live in that area as well. Because for me till now the experience is fine, but there is a street there, La Rambla, and next to that is one of the very popular area which we'll now discuss, which is Raval. Guys, what are your thoughts about Raval?
I have to say that I work in Raval.
Yeah.
And Raval, the thing is that it's a neighborhood
Yeah.
that has a lot of multicultural people,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of immigration.
Yeah.
And I have to say that a lot of people say that Raval is dangerous.
Yeah.
But you have to think that you are in the middle of Barcelona,
Yeah.
and it's a place that at night I would not recommend to go, but
Yeah.
during the day it's completely fine. And also because I think that Raval has like this bad fame and bad reputation, because there are like some racist comments about it, because there are like of people from other countries that live there. So people is like, oh, they're immigrants, so it's not safe.
Yeah.
But I have to say that during night is dangerous, but because it's on the center, really core of Barcelona.
Yeah.
The streets are very narrow on that. But during the day, it's a safe area. You can go. It has really interesting buildings and that. But living there, I think that I will not recommend it, because all the houses and apartments there are quite old and not in good conditions. But it depends also the area. Like if you are in the middle of Raval, not really. But for example, Raval is next to Plaza Catalunya, that is like the core center of Barcelona.
Yeah.
And if it's Raval, like more outside, like in the perimeter of Raval, it's a good point. But I don't think that it's like the worst area of Barcelona.
Yeah. And what about you, Maria? What are your thoughts on Raval?
Maybe not the worst area of Barcelona.
Yeah.
There are places that can be more dangerous for sure. But what happens with Raval, what I have been told, is that you can, if you are, I mean, what happens is that if you walk there as a tourist,
Yeah.
you're very easily noticeable.
In target.
Unfortunately, target. So, unfortunately, what happens is that if some people want to scam you or want to steal from you, you are noticeable. They can hear that you're speaking foreign language. So, yeah, maybe a place you should consider.
Yeah, exactly. So
when you are walking,
yeah.
in Barcelona as a tourist.
But I think Barcelona it's safe. Like it's a safe city.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, it's like a really touristic city, and that implement like the chances that you get like pickpocket, for example.
Yeah.
But if you're conscious all the time about your belongings,
exactly.
and you take care of that, nothing will happen to you. Like maybe if you come from, for example, Nordic countries, like there the culture is different. Like you don't have to care. But here, if you're conscious all the time about your belongings, you take care of them, you will not get stolen.
Yeah, exactly. 2-3 points to add here. First of all, it does not. Yeah, it can depend. Like if they find that you're touristy, you might be the target. But it can happen with local people as well.
Exactly.
If they are not careful, because when I came here and when I met new people, even some of the people who living there for many years, they also told if they are not cautious, they also might get scammed. And the people, if they are careful, so till now, I think we are not got stolen. That's good. Touch wood. But another point is that regarding Raval is it really depends. But as far as I have heard, like one of my friend, her phone got stolen. But it really depends. It's not really about the Raval. It can happen in very Gothic. It can happen by the beach. Even in the beach, by the beach, I remember one incident where a person was trying to crawl and was trying to steal the bag. Even in the Arc de Triomphe, in the ESN event, when we had on the ESN event to get to know each other, we kept our bags at one place, and I remember that there was one guy trying to steal the bag, although he was not successful. but it can happen at any place. But I think Raval is like, as far as I know, if you don't have the option, then you can also search the accommodation here. I know people who live in Raval as well. And, if you're cautious, you are safe there as well. But as a recommendation, I think it's good if you try to find accommodation in the places in the priority where Maria and Natalia mentioned. I would say, since I have not lived there, so I don't know if it's really safe or not, but I have heard some of the stories, maybe people getting, followed at night, and not even about the girls, but also the guys, like sometimes the people follow and maybe they hold you and then maybe get some things out of you. But it can happen at any region, at any point of night time as well, with anyone in any area. So this is, you can say, just our experience regarding these neighborhoods. Talking about the scams, what would you say to avoid the scams, maybe related to accommodation as well?
I think that first of all, like, check the website. Like, is it reliable? Don't ever pay if you haven't seen the building on person, or if it's not a reliable source. If something about your gut feeling says, like, I'm not really sure, you can ask, like, to ESM volunteers. Maybe, like, what do you think about this place? What do you think?
Yeah.
And we'll help you. But for example, I had one friend that was an Italian Erasmus, and she already got an apartment to Tres Torres, that it's a nice area and everything. And once she got there, the flat didn't exist.
Oh wow! And how she found the apartment?
Then she stayed in a hostel, I think, for 1 week, and she constantly, like, tried to find a place.
Yeah.
And at the end, like, she moved to Sabadell, and she found a nice apartment there because she was studying in UAB. So it was good to her to move, and it was not that far from Barcelona.
Interesting. So, but how did she find this apartment?
The one in Sabadell.
No, the one which she got scammed.
Oh, yeah.
Was it which website?
I didn't know the website exactly, but it was through internet.
Yeah.
A really good, like,
Mail.
everything was like super good luck. And that was the thing that made her, like, not secure. Like, okay, everything is so perfect that it's too good to be true.
Okay. So you have to be cautious.
Yeah, exactly.
I would also advise that you have the contact details of the supposed landlord, because sometimes what happens is that there are people who pretend they are, I don't know, they are
Helping you to find.
helping you to find a flat, or they are like these places that rent flats.
Yeah.
And yes, they may use fake accounts or fake IDs, they may even send you the pictures.
Exactly.
As Natalie was saying, if there's something
That's fishy.
that's
Not
your gut
true.
feeling that doesn't look
Yeah.
you can always go to the nearest autonomous police station, so the squadra, and you can report these
Scams.
scams.
But does it really get hit? Like, so suppose if, like, I searched the apartment when I was in Germany. So the people who are searching from their own country, what they can do to verify it? Because if they don't know anyone, if I don't know anyone from here, right, before arriving here, and I'm still searching for the apartment, then what should I do and what can I do? Because then I don't have any contact, or I can still join the WhatsApp group of ESN and
Yeah,
ask.
I think that joining the ESN group chat of WhatsApp and ask, like, look, I'm having a trouble with an apartment, or like finding this accommodation. I want to check. You can ask, can some local help me? And the volunteers will help and give you advice. Like, oh, maybe it's not that secure, or maybe that area is not that good, or have you all the context? What Maria was saying, like, do you really know that that person is not, like, tricking you or getting you ripped off of information that it's false?
Yeah. So I think that's important. So it's also good. Like, some people might be hesitant, but I think it's good if, even if you're at your place, just message in the group and and message the admins. There might be some scammers, because although I know that scammers are removed from the group, who sometimes try to promote some different activities, but still it's good if you contact authorized volunteers and see their faces. Maybe you recognize through their DP, but you verify with them that this neighborhood, I'm getting this idea. Maybe sometimes the street name is wrong, sometimes the thing is in the map. You can also do one thing, that you can see the images and you can see that street and the map area, that does it really exist or not, because sometimes it happens that the house does not exist in the map. And also, one more point, if you are at your home and if it's not the authentic website from the university, I think if you're going through the university, then it's fine, it's authentic, even it's university, and if they recommend some places. But if not, and if someone is asking you the advance money, then you get the idea that you can ask them that once I arrive, then I can pay you the advance. Then I can pay you some security deposit. So I think that's also important.
And also, at least in my case, I did my Erasmus in Austria.
Yeah.
And I was the first to go to Austria. And then, like, the coordinator of my Erasmus, like, in the next years after I came back and everything, she wrote me an email like, oh Natalia, there is a girl that also is going to Strasbourg to do Erasmus and she's having troubles with accommodation. Can you help her? So maybe we contact your university and ask like, has ever a student of my degree did Erasmus there, and maybe can give you an advice. Maybe you are not the first person from a university that went to Barcelona
exactly.
to do Erasmus. That's also a good point.
So you can ask the recommendation from the previous students who have been there, the volunteers who are there, the authentic websites who are there. So I think
don't hesitate in asking for information. Like if you doubt, like, oh, this, I have a gut feeling that is not right. Ask the landlord or whoever your contact like for more information. And if they are like getting resistance to give normal information for a contract, maybe it's not the safest.
Exactly.
Address.
Official contract.
Exactly.
I think that's also important.
Contract.
If you have official contract and not asking money in advance without any paperwork.
Street name and number.
So you can. So I think all these things can help you identify to avoid scams, and also starting from you know how to find accommodation now through the video, but also you get the idea of the safe neighborhood. So there you can expect that the scams might not happen if you're going to some safe neighborhood where there are local people, but still it's always good to verify with the volunteers. But don't just really spam volunteers with all the accommodation options. Just you can do the research by your own, and maybe one or two when you filter those options out, then you can ask the people there that which are authentic or not, and then I think you're good to go. Scams might happen depending on your case, but I think if you're cautious, then neighborhood is also good and the accommodation is also good for you. So thank you so much, Natalia and Maria, for sharing all this information and experiences regarding this, you can say, entire accommodation part, I think, which is one of the critical part as well for the students who would be coming as well, regarding how you can avoid scams and what are the safe neighborhoods. So I think by thanking each and everyone, I end this vlog now. Rest, like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye. Ciao ciao. Namaste. Chalo. Adios. See you in new day, new vlog. Also, you can go to different playlists and watch videos according to your interest. And now there is a new playlist regarding ESN section. You can watch all these informative related videos, the events. You will meet Natalia and Maria and some other vlogs as well. And that's it. And you can watch those whenever you get time. Bye bye.
Bye.
So hello everyone. Blooper video, no?
Hi everyone.
Starring guest
Today we are going to
Ursula Corberó.
Vale. Okay.
Here we are with the best YouTuber of India and of the whole world.
Thank you so much, and the best ESN section of this galaxy, ESN UAB. Stay tuned.